Hello, and welcome to the first ever episode of the LAS Philly Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Laith Sinclair. Today we're going to start by talking about the Eagles, who on Sunday got a huge win in New Orleans, beating the Saints 15-12. It was their first win in New Orleans in 17 years. And yet there's a lot to be concerned about, particularly on the offensive side. Like I said, they only scored 15 points. And I'm particularly concerned with our franchise quarterback, Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts has turned the ball over 26 times in his last 21 games. 26 times! That's insane. And on Sunday, he had another 2 turnovers. Look, I love Jalen Hurts. I'm a huge Jalen Hurts supporter. And I still believe he's our franchise quarterback. And I still believe he can play like the quarterback we saw in 2022 that led us to the Super Bowl. And he was honestly the best player in that game. But he needs to pick it up, because we have a hard schedule. Look, I know our division doesn't look great. Dallas is playing mediocre. New York is New York. Washington, on the other hand, might be concerning because they look great. Jaden Daniels, I think, is the real deal. And he might be the rookie of the year as well. And then you look at our injuries. A.J. Brown's been out, and then Devontae Smith went down. Luckily, that guy that hit him got the suspension, got the fine. He should have been suspended. But yeah, that was not that. That's the injuries are concerning too. And then look at Nick Sirianni. I'm worried about the play calling because we keep going for it on fourth down when we can just take the field goals. I know Kellen Moore technically calls the plays, but the over-aggressive mentality, that's Nick Sirianni. So a lot to consider with these birds. Alright, stay tuned for the next segment. Go Birds. Alright, everybody, welcome back to the LAS Philly Sports Podcast. Let's talk a little Sixers basketball. We're about 3 or 4 weeks away from the season starting, and this season is coming with some huge expectations. Obviously, we have Joel Embiid. We got a rising Tyrese Maxey. And then we added Paul George. He was one of the big names in the offseason, and we signed him. 4 years, $212. And we got guys like Caleb Martin, Kelly Oubre, Jared McCain, Ricky Council. Guys, we actually have depth on the 76ers. What a concept. And then we got one of the best coaches in the league, Nick Nurse. I think we have the guys and the team to do it. We haven't been out of the second round in 23 years. Never in my fandom. And we haven't won a championship in 42 years. So hopefully this will be the season. But it's all going to depend on the health of this team. Obviously, let's just make that clear. If Joel Embiid goes down, we're done. We're done. I think the same probably goes if Tyrese Maxey or Paul George, God forbid, got hurt. There's also been some other stuff going around with this team. Obviously, there was some rumors that we might relocate. It seems like that's not happening now, as we might be getting a new arena in Center City, Philadelphia, which has come with some mixed reactions from the community, including our very own Jason Kelsey, the now retired Eagles center. He recently wrote on Twitter, or X, "To be clear, I would absolutely support the Sixers building their own arena in South Philadelphia. The renting thing isn't fair to them. I just hate the strong-arming of the city to force an inevitable move into an area that the local residents and vast majority of Philadelphians don't prefer to be in Center City." So yeah, and I think it seems like a lot of Philadelphians are reacting that way. I'm happy that the Sixers are staying, but I don't want to be putting out fellow Philadelphians. So we'll see what happens. All right, stay tuned for our last segment of the first ever LAS Philly Sports Podcast. All right, we're reaching the end of our episode. We're gonna finish with the Phillies. As you can see, I changed hats to match the topic of conversation. The Phillies are division champs. That hasn't been said in 13 years. And but they're not satisfied. They shouldn't be. We're trying to win a World Series. Actually, this is my World Series hat from 2022. We came up just a little short against the Astros. But they can do it. There's no reason they can't. But some things have to happen first. First and foremost, our hitters need to be more consistent. We got the talent. There's no reason that our hitters can't be consistently scoring 4 or 5 runs a game. We got Kyle Schwarber, Bryce Harper, Trey Turner, Bryson Stott, Alec Baum. Those guys should be scoring regularly. So our hitters need to be more consistent because they were awful in the NLCS last year. And then there's the pitching side. I think I speak for most Phillies fans when I say there will be serious outrage if Taijuan Walker gets any pitching time in the playoffs. Even if he gets 1 game, there will be outrage. You cannot play Taijuan Walker for a single playoff game. You just can't. And then the rest of our guys, Zach Wheeler, Aaron Nola, Christopher Sanchez, on our bullpen, they just need to show up. So, I think we got the team to do it. All right, everybody, that's going to do it for our first ever LAS Philly Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Laith Sinclair.